Okay, so this is the 2020 DEB pre-junior cert paper. This is question 3. This is the axonometric question. So before I even started, I just kind of analysed the question just in relation to the setup of the page and where I put my axes and stuff. So I've identified it's going to be a landscape because we have our elevation or end view. If we were given our elevation and plan, I would advise you to set up the drawing in portrait, because that just gives you a lot more room down the bottom of the page. So we're just going to go ahead and start. You can see I'm already after starting in pencil just to give myself a head start to get me going. I actually did it just to see that I could fit everything on the page, and it looks pretty good so far. So first things first with you guys, anything in red is construction. So I'll put it in just to remind you. So that's construction, and black is heavy. Alright, but I won't be using black till later in the question when I'm ready to commit to lines. Okay, so first things first, you got to set up your axis. Okay, so it's 30 degrees and 30 degrees the other way. Very simple. Okay, and then a vertical line down the middle. Alright, there you are, that's your axis. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw the elevation in the top left corner first. So what you got to do is just extend that 30 degree line on. So extend it on. Right, there's no specific distance where to stop. It's kind of your own your own interpretation of where you could fit the drawing on the page. It's also having enough room within the axonometric axis to fit the actual axonometric drawing. Right, so first things first, you're probably wondering, how do I set up that 15 degrees? So we're told there's an angle of 15 degrees here to set up our elevation. So there's a couple of ways, but what I'd advise you is 30, 60, lying flat on your t-square, so make sure it's in contact with your t-square, and bring in your 45 degree set square. Okay, so that angle there is 15 degrees, and if we had a vertical line here, so for instance with the axis here, that angle there is 15 degrees. Alright, so you can go ahead, so you can see it set up there, so 60 degrees on the bottom on top of the t-square, and then your 45 degrees on top with the 90 degree angle up here. Okay, and I'm just going to go off at 15 degrees that way, and also that way. So there we are, and the width of our elevation we're told is 80. So actually I have a mark out and all first. So it's 80, so I'll go ahead and I'll draw that. And the height, the overall height, we're not actually told yet, so we'll just work our way up. So we'll draw what we can see. So we have 12 mil to the first ledge, and the next one is 10 up. So I'll just mark them all off on this first, mark 10, and then then it's up at 44, so now you can see it. Up 44 to the center of the clock, and then the outside has a radius 28, so I'll just measure up 28. No, I won't, because I'm going to use my compass for that, it'll be more accurate. Right, and then I'll come across, the bottom is 80, so I'll come across 40 to find my center. Find that center of the clock. Okay, so as always, you can drive on, don't wait for me. Okay, okay, perfect. And that next ledge up, that's 10 mil. In the way, what I'll do is I'll just go in construction first. Nice and light. If I'm using red, I want you to see a sharp pencil as well. Alright, first ledge is 12, and then there's a gap of 10 in, so just mark that in. 10 and 10 in the way as well. Lovely. And then that goes straight up. Lovely. Okay, Okay, so there's a radius 28 for the outside, the top basically. So to find the overall height, so 28. So as look, I'm measuring on a line again. I'm not measuring thin air. And now I'm going to bring over my compass, and I'm going to extend my compass out to that 28. And I'm just going to scribe an arc. Alright, so that's a radius 28 for the top. You see that in the question. Okay, and then we can bring that vertically down because that's the extremities left and right of the body of the clock. So we'll bring that vertically down. So we're on the left hand side. Okay, so we actually only have our elevation drawn already, and we're only a couple of minutes in, so we're going well. Okay, the inside of the clock has a radius 21, so I'm just going to put that in. So the trickiest part here would probably be that 15 degrees, knowing how to set it up. Okay, and that's probably the only bit she'll catch you in the drawing so far. So if you do find that's tricky, no harm, go back, rewind the video, and just see exactly how I set up the set squares. Okay, so that's our elevation basically done. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to put that in heavy, just to get us going. Alright, so try be as efficient as you can when you are going back over lines. Don't spend too much time doing it. So try do lines that are parallel to each other at the same time. You'd be surprised what a couple of seconds makes up when you add them all together. Sorry, and as I said before, try not to come back on yourself or go over yourself when you are drawing in heavy. Try go away from the last line you just drew, because it'll just create smudge. You don't want that on your page because it doesn't look great for the examiner, or it doesn't look great in general. And there we have it, that's our elevation done. Okay, and you can just make out the arcs. I'm not going to go over them in black because it'll be hard with the compass and I might ruin it. Okay, over to the end view. Okay, so the end view is the same procedure. You're just going off at 30 degrees the other way. So I'm going to bring it up here. Oh, sugar, that should be in red. It's alright. Alright, so that line there should be in red, obviously. Alright, so I'll just write it in there. Okay, so that should be in red. It's construction. What I did actually was I just brought a little horizontal mark over to meet that 30 degree line to stop it there. It just looks, yeah, it just looks better that they're both at the same height. Right, so the 15 degrees at the other side. So sometimes it actually takes a bit of fiddling around with the set squares to get it. So 30 degrees like that. There we are. Right, so this way, just the only difference is the 30-60 is facing the opposite way, and the 45 degrees. They're both basically on their back almost. Alright. Right. Off at 15 degrees that way, and then 15 degrees straight up almost. Sorry, just trying to get that. It's a bit fidgety with the set squares when they are on their back. It's not the best to work with. Right, that'll do. And then the overall width of our end view is 65 for the bottom. Measure that. And that's back up at 60 degrees. So what I'll do is I'll set up a line which is parallel to that 15 degrees, and then I'll pop back at 60 degrees to get that little lip. So sorry, it's a bit hard with the fine liners when they're on the back to get it right on. There you go, off at 60 degrees. And the next lip up. Oh, sorry, sure, we're going to go from our elevation, so we'll just take that height. It should be 12. I'll just take the height using my compass though, because if it turns out that I haven't measured this correctly in my elevation, at least I'm using the same measurements when I come over here and it's going to match up. Oh, that'll do. Right, so there's 12. And what I'll do is that while I'm here, actually, I'll put in the next ledge as well, which is that 10 mil. I'll step that up when I'm here. And you know what, I'll bring the center up. And the overall height, I'll bring that up as well. So that's the center of the clock face. And then the overall height. Just measure that and bring it up first as well. Okay, so this just leads to accuracy there of the line, or if you have made a mistake in your elevation, that you're bringing the same measurements and it'll still work out well. This drawing will still work out okay. Okay, so they're my important measurements, and I don't like using the set squares on their back, so what I'm just going to do is I'm going to use sliding set squares, because I've already set up that 15 degrees, so what I'll do is I'll just bring these all parallel to the bottom and you get the same result. So that's the center of the clock, and then that's the overall height up there. Okay, so the very top and important measurement is to come out 26. And the third ledge up is a width, or the second ledge up, sorry, is a width of 42. Okay, and you'll see that joins to the top. Alright, so you see a clock, the front of the clock face is actually tilted. So that might make things a bit trickier down the line, but we'll manage. Right, what have I left to do? Okay, so this leg, this one here comes in 6 mil. Lovely, and the bit after is just 60 degrees, so I'm just going to use sliding set squares. And that's our end view done in full. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that in heavy. If I can find my... There. So I'm just going to do that in heavy. I'm just going to go over all my lines that should be in heavy. So again, I'll use sliding set squares and match it up to the bottom, and I'm going to work my way down so I'm not smudging. So that's the top. The next one comes out there. Okay, so you're constantly pulling the pencil. I don't want to see people pushing the pencil. It causes a tear in the page and it doesn't look good. It can cause the pencil, the lead to actually chip, and then that's what leads to smudging, and you don't want that. Right, so always pull the pencil. Okay, so that's our end view done. Right, next thing we need to start bringing a couple of lines into the center. So, what I'll do is I'll start bringing the main outer lines in first, and then we can worry about the curves and stuff. So try to get as many marks on the page as you can at the start, and then worry about the finer details then with the curves and stuff. Okay. So the overall shape, we'll try to get this. So that's the bottom. All right, so we can see that already. So that's the very bottom. Okay, the next ledge up. Now, if you feel labeling helps you here, by all means, fire away. I'm just going to try. Yeah, I'm just going to wait for a second because I'll be labeling with my curve. Alright, so I'll actually show you where that came from. So, if I was to show you, if I was to label these, so I'd label it A, B, C, and D. Okay, so A, B, C, and D. and then if it's labeled in my end view as well, so we're looking in from the left hand side of the object. So what you'll see first, if we were to look in this way, on top would be AD, underneath you'd see BC. Right, so bring in BC, B is here, A is up here, so when I brought A in, and similarly on the other side, bring D in where they meet, that's point D, and then C at the bottom. Okay, so just showing you where that came from. Right, moving on. So we're going to try finish the rest of those ledges. So we'll bring, what have we? Yeah, okay, so we'll bring these ones in as well. Okay, that's handy. So you see the way that matches up there? That just is one less line for us to bring the whole way in. And similarly that to happen here as well. That's very good. Okay. So I need to bring these in as well, sorry, from the other side. So this is very important to be, it's very important that we use a sharp pencil and we're nice and light with our construction lines here, because you'll see there's a lot of lines starting to come together already. So it can get messy and will get messy, to be honest. So we need to be as efficient with our lines and as neat as possible. Okay, so we can start to see that ledge coming together now. So if you feel that it helps to label it all the time, by all means go ahead. Okay, and I'm going to find the main body now as well. So the clock face is actually, or the front part is actually back a small bit. So it actually starts here and yeah, goes back to the very back. So what we'll do is draw a vertical line there. That's the back. And then lovely, okay. So it's really starting to come together now. I'm going well. What I'll do, look, I'll put in the bottom, just so we can actually see it starting to come together. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to try find the very top first, and then we're going to do our curves. Okay, so I'm just going to find the overall body first. And here. So I'm going to find this point. There, no, sorry. And there it is there. Is that right? Nope. Sorry, there it is there. Yep. Okay, so I'll put that in. Nice and light. Okay, so this is the front face at an angle. So it's not vertical, so I had to find the points manually. So this one comes across. Makes that one there. Lovely. Right. Now we need to find this curve at the front. This curve at the front, and there's also a curve at the back. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to 60-30 the elevation, because that's where we can see our semicircle. And actually, be careful there, I almost made the mistake myself. You need to set up, because it's set up at 15 degrees, you're going to have to come down. You're going to have to set up a line to act as our T-square almost, as if this was horizontal. Right. So there's 30 degrees, and I'll just bring it through that circle as well, and you'll see why later on. Right, so it's 30, 60 one way, and then we'll flip it over and do it the other way. Lovely. And I'll number those. So we'll do the outside first. So we'll say 1, 2, 3 at the top, 4, 5. Okay, and we have the left and right. Okay. So the next question you might ask is, how do I find those points in my end view? Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to bring the heights across. So basically you want to take the height that 3 is at, 4 and 2 will be at the same, and 1 and 6 will be the same. Right, so you want to take these heights, so I brought them over so just a line to work off. So 3 will be on that, 2, 4, and 1, 5. Okay, and I'm just going to transfer those heights over to the back body, or the backbone of the end view. Okay, so you'll see at the start I actually took these heights and marked them off here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to transfer these heights across as well for each 60-30 mark. Right, so there's 1 and 5. So you can see it there. I took 1 and 5 in my compass, bring it over, and 1 and 5 is going to be at that height over there. 2 and 4. Okay, so you can see why we actually do 30-60, because it does help us be a bit more efficient, because 1 and 6 or 1 and 5 overlap there. Whereas if we just chose random points, we'd be taking 6 different points, whereas now we only have to take 1, 2, 3, 3 heights over. Alright, so at the top is actually 3. Underneath that we have 2, 4. Underneath that then we have 1, 5. Alright, so they're actually the heights in the back of the clock. But to just find them then at the front, find each of those points at the front, you're just going to use parallel or sliding set squares again and just bring them across. So there's 2 and 4 at the front, and there's 1 and 5. Sorry, so yeah, okay. So 1 and 5, 2 and 4 at the front, and then 3. No harm if you label these differently, so you don't get confused. The ones at the front. So I'll say 3B, 2B, 4B, 1B, and 5B. Because it's a B, we're going to say it's at the back. And over here, it doesn't matter because one is in behind 1, 2, 3. They're all in behind their partners, so that's fine. So we're going to bring these down from. I'll just bring the front. Yeah, we'll bring the front face down because that's where you're going to see first when you look in here. So try work from the front back. There's 1 and so on, right? I'm just going to bring these in. There's no point in. So 3 matches up with another line, lovely, and 4 and 6 are on the same, which helps us as well. So working from the front, didn't we? Okay, 3 is brought in all for us. 2, 4, 1, 5 then. All we have to do now is match them up and join the dots. Okay, so this is the fun part. So on point 1, bring it in. There's point 1. I'll use a different color just because I know these are points on my curve. There's 1, 2, 4. There's 2. And 3 should be the very top. Yeah, there's 3. Am I right in saying that's 4? No, 4 is over here. And sorry, 4 is there. That's 5. Alright, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And because we know that's the front, I can actually draw that. So I'm just going to put that in for you. So it's a freehand curve. Take your time with it. Okay, so that's the front. I'm just going to put this line in because we have it drawn. Okay, so as I said, try work from the front back. So draw the front of the face or front of the clock first, because that's what you're going to see first. And I just forgot 2 lines in here, or 1 line, sorry. Right, so yeah, because this is angled, do you know what we can do to find these points at the back of the curve? We can just take their distance away. No, we won't. We'll match them up properly. So 3B, bring it in. There's 3B, 2 and 4. Sorry, I must bring them in first. Handy. 2 and 4 at the back, and 1 and 5. Okay. So what do we find? There's 3B. Right, 2. 2, 4, 5. Okay, with 1. Lovely. And then that's actually the very there's the back there. Okay, so the extreme part of the curve, you can actually just pop it in as a straight line. Alright, so the very far part of it. And this can be done in your freehand. So there's 1, 2. So they're at the back, so I'll just freehand those. And we can put in the back of it then. Okay, so you can see the drawing starting to come together. We're actually getting most of our marks at this stage. So we'll just put in the front, the actual clock face itself, the circle there. Right. So as you can see, we've already done the 60-30 up here. This is what I spoke about. It's just actually locating these points over here. It's the exact same procedure. I'm just going to number them differently because we're going to confuse ourselves otherwise. So we've already used 1 to 5, so we'll say 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. Okay, just to help us, and what we'll do is I'm actually going to, before I bring those points in, I'm just going to bring the heights across to find them in our end view. Alright, and I'm going to bring them out to the left hand side just to avoid confusion and there's more room to work with. Taking those heights, so 17 and 7, yeah, there it is on the same, lovely. Bring down out 16 and 8 on the same, we have 15 and 9, 14, 10, 13 and 11 are on the same, and then 12 is the extreme bottom of it. Right, so what do we say, 12, 13, 10, 14, sorry, 13, 11, 14, 10, 15 and 9, so these are all points. I have the smaller circle inside the clock face, so then I have 16, 8 on that one, 17, 7, and at the top it's 6. Right, okay, so we're nearly there. So what I just did there was I'm after marking 60, 30 on my smaller sort of clock face itself. Alright, and I've just numbered them differently. So I've already used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've just used 6 to 17. Just so I don't get confused. I'm over here at certain heights and stuff. Okay, so you can just take all those heights then. So as I said, I brought them over to the left hand side because there's less room to work with on the right hand side. And it could get confusing. Right, so that's 0.6. So that's the very height of it. So again, I'm going to bring it over to the back wall, and you can see I'll bring it through to the front face in a second, and just label them as you're going along. So that's 6. So labeling is extremely important here because you're just not going to be able to keep up otherwise. Right, so that's 17, 7. 16, 8 is the next one. Okay, so we're going with 15, 19. Have that already, sorry. And then 14, 10. 13, 18. And then 12 is just the bottom then. Lovely. So what did I say? So 12, 13, 11, 14, 10. Right, and just bring those heights across so they meet that curve, not the curve, but the sloped edge, the front edge of the clock. Where have we? 6 at the top, 17, 7, 16, 8, 18, 19 is brought already, 14, 10, 13, 11, and 12 at the bottom. Sorry about that. Okay, so we've all our heights brought across. So what we've done there is we've located all these heights on the front face there. So I'm going to bring, so you're going to see it's going to get very messy here, so just bear with me. Right, so I'm just going to bring all these in. 7, 8, 6 and 9, 17 and 10. What you'll find, because we've done 60-30, they're actually overlapping and we're getting 2 points for 1, which is helping us be more efficient. Okay, and we need to bring all these points in as well. So 6. So I'm actually going to find them as I'm going along. So there's 6. Okay, there's 6. 17 and 7. I'm going to find those 2 points now. So 17. It's here. So there's 17. Now find 7. There's 7. Lovely. And next we have okay, so that's 16 and 18 I'm bringing in. So 16. So this is why I'm always harping on about a sharp pencil, because it's very important when it gets to this stage of the drawing. Okay. It's 15 and 19. It's the dead center of the clock. Oh, sorry, there's oh yeah, it's put in already. So there's 15 and 19. Yeah, so 15. Not 19, is it? It's 9. That's right. Okay, that's 15. Okay, so you can actually start to see that's the top half done. So we're just going to drive it on. We're nearly there. So it's that 15 and 9. Okay, 10, 13, 11. Then last one. It says 12. I'm just going to actually find 12 over here. Right, that's 12. 13, 11. 13. 13 and 11. 10 is the next one, isn't it? 10 and 14. Right, last 2 points. 10 and 14. Lovely. Okay, so there's our clock face at the front, so I'm just going to draw that. Okay. Are we done? Yeah, because it's actually a clock face there, you don't have to show, it's not a hole going through the center of it. Alright, have we drawn? Okay, so just going through a checklist just before we move on. Just want to have a look at the question itself. We don't need any hidden detail over here because it's just a clock face at the front. There's no need to put in those little markings on the front. Yeah, no, I think we're good. Yeah, so that's the. And just have a look that all your lines are. We've all heavy. Nope, we're missing one heavy line here at the back. Yeah, so that's the back there. Okay, so just looking at the drawn. Yeah, no, pretty happy with that. That's okay. Elevation, everything is in heavy that needs to be in heavy. And the end view. Okay. So that's the 2020 DEB exam, pre-examination. It's question 3 and it's the axonometric. Thanks for watching.